I think there's something in understanding that there is a lot of nuance in the world, in almost everything. But when you have just a moment, right, where do you want to be and who do you want to spend it with? And I think the who do you want to spend it with probably trumps it all. So wherever they're at, that's where a great glass of whiskey probably belongs.
It is autumn here in Whiskeyland, and something is growing under the watchful eye of a Midwest sun. This is Rick and Ricky Johnson, the father and son duo behind the award-winning 15 Stars whiskey. We met them on the farm, where they're growing heirloom corns, first for their other family business, popcorn, and now for future blends of their high-end whiskey.
So, COVID time, I was living at home with my family. Every night at 9 o'clock, whatever I was doing, I stopped, went over to the other end of the house where my family was, and went and got a drink.
And early on, we were just exploring. We had no idea where 15 Stars was going to go, other than we were going to use these heirloom corns someday.
And one summer, he asked me if I wanted to take those heirloom colored corns that we sell through Black Jewel and make bourbon out of them. So of course I said, yeah, 100%.
Though their heirloom popcorn distillate is not ready yet, they're perfecting their blending abilities.
We knew that we would put our heirloom corns in a bottle, and we really didn't source anything for the first couple of years. We were just distilling and trying to build a nice inventory of product. And there's no way to rush this whiskey, right? You can't rush it if you want to be the very best. And so then we did say, hey, we're impatient, but we're not impatient in that we're going to put this whiskey in a bottle at 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, right? We're impatient in a way that we're going to start sourcing some 10-year and 12-year and 15-year and 18-year whiskeys that we can put in a bottle now. And that's when the blending really kind of became our philosophy.
Rick and Ricky are at the intersection of quality and taste, being able to collaborate on several mash bills with Bardstown Bourbon Company, distilling their own heirloom corns to be blended in their future releases, providing a blueprint for the coming years, while rooting their current whiskey in higher age statement whiskeys from the past, using a palette they developed together as a way to stay personally connected.
Our blending happens in our kitchen. Ricky and I do the blending personally. On every whiskey we put out, and he leads it, but I'm in the middle of it with him. And so we do that together. You know, if you think about bourbon, it's about those moments when you're spending time with the people you care most about, in the places you love the most, and where you want to spend a little more time. In the shaping of what we do, we've been able to start wherever we wanted to start. And really, our first release was a blend of 14 and 15-year-old Kentucky bourbons. Suggested retail price $279. And I had a lot of people come to me that were friends and say, now why would anybody buy a $279 bourbon from you guys? And that's a really good question, right? That bourbon ended up being one of 3 finalists for Best Bourbon of the Year at the San Francisco World Spirits Competitions, and it sold out.
15 Stars is only a few years old, and they've won accolades across the industry for choosing to follow their gut and chase their palate.
That set a track for us that really has become the mantra of 15 Stars, is that we're really trying to let the whiskeys lead us.
We do something we call flavor proofing, which is, for us, a really important part of the product development. It's where, you know, people a lot of times create their final product and then proof as an afterthought, where we know that proofing affects the flavor of a bourbon in a big way of any whiskey. So instead of proofing after we've created our final blend, we're taking a bunch of the blends that we're thinking about using and trying them up and down the proof range so that we can find the best proof and blend combination. Because, you know, we think that the best 2 blends aren't necessarily blend A at 105 proof or blend A at 112 proof. It might be blend A at 105 proof and blend B at 115 proof. But you'd never know that unless you proofed both of them. So it's just another step that we add to ensure that we're, finding the best combination of the whiskeys we're blending.
Oh, yeah. That nose is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the cognac and the port kind of blend into this like fruity caramely thing.
Yeah, very dark fruity, like plum and raisin sort of notes.
Ooh, that's nice, man.
We generally agree on pretty much everything, but occasionally there's some things we debate on, and having a couple people who aren't entirely like-minded generally creates better outcomes. If I was doing the same thing for a company somewhere, would I have the same confidence to say, I think this, I think that, I like this blend, whatever, we should do this? Maybe not. But being around my family, I'm very willing to express my opinions. But yeah, I think that's made for a more open and positive thinking, forward-moving environment for the company, it being a family business.
It's been a luxury to work as a family together. I think that's probably a lot of people's dream, that if you could do that, that'd be great. I think one of the real keys is you have to recognize people are individuals, right? And they're all going to be different. And so it's about finding fit. And I think that's and making fit, right? And so, if everybody's going to have a different take on it, and Ricky's take on a business is different, but when we look at blending is it's the art of balance. Maybe it's kind of like a blend, right? That those different viewpoints from family members kind of coming together and trying to create a business, it probably improves it. It's just like a blend of whiskey. Any one can be really, really good, but to get the very best, it's kind of a blend of those viewpoints.
It's dinner time at the Johnsons, and tonight on the menu, heirloom cornbread. They were kind enough to invite us to stay, and the Bayless brothers never turn down a free meal, especially one that looks as good as this one. 15 Stars is an award-winning whiskey, but when you let the accolades fade away for the moment, you see a family, one that loves each other deeply. Breaking bread with our new friends, we admired their connection. The table was warm, full of laughs, and a mutual respect that seems to recall a life of truly taking care of one another. If this is how their whiskey is made, then it is no doubt filled to the brim with care and consideration, and an authentic desire to truly speak. And when it speaks, it reaches for greatness, both in balance and flavor. And if you're like me, and occasionally find yourself worried about the state of the world, take some time to learn a little history, drink a dram of the good stuff, and eat some homemade dessert. It'll warm your heart.